everyone to this special presentation looking into the life and work of Mary Cassatt. More specifically, her life as a female impressionist painter and her depictions of women, mother, and children dynamics within the home that has been able to universally relate to women across all time periods. Was an American impressionist painter, which is quite unique in its own right, but she was also highly recognized as a true feminist for her time period, as she openly critiqued the American social, gender, and class systems. Her rebellious intent was quite noticeable from a young age, as she refused to conform to these traditional roles of women and pursued her studies at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. Over the years, and with her growing disdain for America, she later moved to France to continue her studies, and this is where she would really build a career for herself and meet counterparts such as Edgar Degas, who would be one of her biggest influences and actually painted this portrait you see here of Mary Cassatt. Although she did pursue her career in art as she dreamed, it was not without setbacks, as she was, again, a woman in a male-dominated field. And today we are going to talk more about how that was reflected within her artwork. Being in a field that was deemed for men at the time, Cassatt's work and the validity of her artistry was consistently challenged. These patriarchal societal standards and the domestication of women were reflected throughout her work, as she did not have the same liberties as her impressionist counterparts that were male. Being a woman within a field that was deemed for men at the time, Cassatt experienced many setbacks as her work was persistently challenged along with the validity of her artistry. Cassatt's unique take on the impressionist movement's interest on capturing fleeting scenes, as she was not afforded the same liberties as her male counterparts of going out and studying these social settings. Cassatt instead focused her work into the intimate settings of womanhood. As you can see in these paintings, a majority of her works were set in domesticated spaces, as Cassatt herself was limited to what she could paint and where. Although some may assume a picture of mother and child upholds these traditional and oppressive depictions of women throughout history, Mary Cassatt's were daring, different, and provoking, and also very much unseen before in art. Her depictions of motherhood were not over-idealized or religiously affiliated. They are real and raw and often provocative, challenging conventional views of women's roles and showing them in complex and powerful ways. Unlike her male contemporaries, who often depicted women as objects of desire or in passive roles, Cassatt's work features women in active and empowered domestic settings. This deviation does not only highlight the complexity of women's lives, but also challenges the traditional male gaze prevalent in impressionist art. I'd like to invite you and take a moment to assess these two paintings here. One was painted by Mary Cassatt and the other Edgar Degas. I would like to ask you, which one of these paintings do you think was painted by a woman? And why do you think that? What in the painting stands out to you as inherently feminine? Is it the composition, the mood, the people? I decided to also ask my peers these same exact questions. Please join me.
I think men usually get like women's bodies and like
Yeah, but I
they
mean,
like glorify the beautiful parts of it, you know.
I would, but but both are pretty mundane. I mean, I think like
Yeah,
that's
she's like wearing jewelry, like the lighting is all.
yeah,
like,
but she's also dressed very modestly. I mean, she's naked in that one. Or if that is a woman, I can't assume.
Oh yeah.
I think like this one is so intimate and feels more like, I don't know, representing like women's bodies in a more authentic way, versus this is more like, women are dainty and pretty.
Yeah, and holding a flower.
Right.
Like it doesn't feel, and I don't know what she's doing, but it doesn't look natural.
Right.
Or why you think this is painted by a woman?
I don't think a man would let himself be portrayed as being taken care of.
Oh, I didn't even like register that was a man. I was kind of thinking they were by a woman.
It's okay.
Because it's like more vulnerable. I feel like that one is kind of a man's perception of women, like dainty and just like that one's more like I don't know, raw. So this like girl getting out of the bathtub made me think about Mary Cassatt's paintings. But then I'm like, that's like more like this style of painting, but it's also too classical. It makes me think it might have been a man. That's what I thought.
It's kind of like tied though. That's what's weird.
I know, there's like 4
I'm gonna say this one because it seems a little bit stranger and more vulnerable. Like this one just seems very kind of like you could see it at the Getty or something. It's like stock of its time in a sense. But this one is like there's just like the nudity of this guy and like the fact that his body doesn't look particularly great. There's just something interesting about that. I like that. I'm gonna say yay.
There they go.
Yeah, was I right?
No. So unfortunately, my lovely participants did not guess correctly. Did you? And if you did guess correctly, what were the telltale signs that it was painted by a woman? I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this little exhibition looking at Mary Cassatt and her life's work. I hope you all can join me again next time. Bye!